If you're not waiting until the last minute to do your holiday baking, are you really living your life to the fullest? We're gonna do a spring bake with me today, or spring cook with me. There's gonna be some springy recipes, some good stuff, and we're gonna get started right now with my smudged mascara from my Saturday nap. Today, we're making carrot cake bars. It is the night before Easter. The recipe is by Yummy Toddler Food, and I'll link it down below. Let's get this started. We dyed an 18 count of eggs today, which was a lot of fun. Now that the small helper is getting older, I don't get to dye eggs as much anymore, and it kind of makes me sad. But it's fun. It's fun seeing her do it. It's fun making the big mess. I am peeling some carrots right now. I've got some carrots peeled. I think they're enough to make the recipe. We'll see. Let's get them grated. The first thing we need is 1 cup of grated carrots. I've got a little scavenger in the back. All right, I have 2 cups of grated carrot. The original recipe calls for 1, but the original recipe is also uses an 8x8 pan, and I don't have an 8x8 pan, and we have a very large family, so I'm just gonna double a recipe. I'm gonna start off with 4 eggs. They're supposed to be lightly beaten, so I'm adding those in first. Double crack. Oh, gonna drop a shell. My kid's not even helping me. Let's see if I can do it on this one. Yeah, skills for me. I'm gonna beat these lightly and then actually read their directions for the rest of it. I have 2 cups of carrots. The recipe says you can stir this, but what's the use of having a stand mixer if you don't use the stand mixer? 2 cups of applesauce. I'm using these. I don't buy the big jar of applesauce because we don't eat a lot of applesauce. And so it's just easier to do the cups that last longer. I don't have to waste. 1/2 cup of, this is not unsalted because Country Crock doesn't make unsalted, plant-based butter. And that's all I have, so. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I am gonna measure this. I normally don't because I feel confident eyeballing a teaspoon, but not 2. I am gonna add another teaspoon because when some is good, more is better. Gonna mix that up and then come back with my dry ingredients. All right, so now we're gonna go in with 3 cups of flour. 2, 3, 1/2 cup, roughly, yeah, of brown sugar, and a big mess on my counter. 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. This is a 2 teaspoon, by the way, just in case you thought I was mismeasuring. I'm not. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. So it calls for 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm gonna leave the salt out because I use salted butter. 1/2 cup of golden raisins. I have never in my life seen golden raisins on sale. If you know where they sell them, comment below and let me know. Because I'm either just blind and have never noticed them, or they don't exist in North Texas. So I'm just gonna use 1/2 cup of regular raisins. That's 3/4 of a cup. That's what I use for the brown sugar, whatever. That's gonna be about 1/2 cup. It's like the story of my life today. I'm gonna mix this up and put it in my baking pan that I'm going to grease and then cover with parchment paper. All right, those are gonna bake for 22 to 24 minutes. While that's going, my husband's out here working on a project, so I'm gonna go take a shower. He's gonna get the bars out for me, and then we'll come make cream cheese icing. I'm gonna make cream cheese icing. head is currently wrapped in a muslin blanket, and I just can't bring myself to show you that on camera. And so we're gonna make some faceless cream cheese icing. I'm gonna use a hand mixer for this because I feel like it helps me see when it's ready. 16 ounces of cream cheese, softened at room temperature. 1 stick of butter and half a cup of honey. My youngest is now a year old, so honey is not off limits to us anymore. Let's get mixing. This is looking fluffy to my standard anyway, so I'm gonna wait for the carrot cake to finish cooling and then we'll pipe this. This is somewhat cool. It's still a little bit warm, but my icing is done. It is 10 o'clock at night and I'm ready to relax and get ready for bed. So we're gonna go ahead and ice this and see what it looks like. Well, there's no denying that it's homemade, but it does smell very good. I'm gonna cover this with plastic wrap and put it in the fridge to finish cooling and be ready for Easter morning tomorrow. Comment down below, what are you making for your family Easter celebration? I found yummy toddler food on Instagram. If you would like to find me on Instagram, because I'm on there, you can find me at c.kate. All right, today we're gonna make some baked rice. The first thing I'm gonna do is chop 5 tomatoes. To my tomatoes, I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic minced, a cup and a half of short grain white rice, a cup and a half of cannellini beans, a third of a cup of nutritional yeast, 2 bay leaves, about 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, or less if you have small children, 1 teaspoon of dried dill, and 3 cups of broth. I've got chicken broth. The recipe calls for vegetable. You can choose whatever. I've got the recipe linked below. I'm gonna give this a stir and put it into a 390-degree oven for 1 hour. All right, so this is lunch for this week. If you're super hungry, you could top it with a fried egg. Otherwise, this is good by itself with a fresh vegetable or 2. This baked rice dish was a huge hit in my family, especially with me. I had like 2.5 servings of it, and my 11-month-old who really hasn't loved rice in any sort of iteration until we had this baked rice dish. There was a dill and lemon dressing that was supposed to go with it. I couldn't find fresh dill at my Walmart, and so I did it without, but it was still really good, really creamy, and you should make it. Let's talk about my favorite way to roast a whole chicken. All right, so I've got my chicken marinated in about half a cup of avocado oil, a healthy measure of Dijon mustard, salt, pepper, rosemary, and bay leaves. I mixed that all up and poured it over the chicken, and then also into the body cavity, put some rosemary and bay leaves up its butt for good measure. You could also toss some lemons in there, that would be really good. And now I'm going to toss it breast side down into this preheated Dutch oven. I hate touching chicken. Let it drip in it. Gross.
Oh, I need to touch you.
And then, let me wash my hands. I'm going to bake this in my oven at 425 for about an hour and a half. And that's gonna be dinner. I'm gonna do some sweet potatoes, maybe steam them. I'll show you the finished plate whenever it's all done. All right, so it's been about an hour. I'm gonna check the temperature of the chicken. I think I'm gonna flip it over and then put it back in the oven for about 30 minutes. That is looking delicious. Let me go find my meat thermometer. All right, dinner tonight, I've got half of a sweet potato, some of this roasted chicken, and some bag salad. So let's get to eating. That's it for this week. I hope that your Easter was lovely, your spring is bright, and that you found something today that you can take into your own kitchen. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.